Hello, everybody. We're going live. I thought I would do a quick blitz for everybody because I'm getting a lot of emails. People are upset about Brexit, about Boris Johnson. I did do cards earlier today. Hi, everybody. And the cards weren't that bad, but yeah, I want to talk to people about a lot of stuff today as well. But before we do all of that, as is our way, we're going to give gratitude to everybody who decided to show up today. It's not my regular time; it's 1 o'clock. So if you're a little confused because we're starting late, I had patients earlier today, so we're doing things a little different today. So we want to give a shout out to Jess, Bootsy John, hello. Just you and me, yeah. Carla Phillips, hello. Renee is here. Welcome, Renee. Yvette is here. Ronnie, shalom. Jamie G. Marie Martel, hi. Bootsy Jan, Nancy, Jenny, Jen. Catherine Fallon, welcome back. Secret Zelda, what's your secret? Edith Rosales, Teresa Haldarin, hello. Jane is here in the house, Jane Barmash. Barbara Young, I think we've already said hi to Jen Jones, have we? Laura Hilton, welcome. Yvonne is in the house. Miss Beach Boxer, you're a beach boxer. We got to talk. White Sage, way, we love White Sage. Liz Lopez, Kathy Conrad, Susie Rock. Susie Rock is rocking the house. All right, Tyann Tesmer, Bamble Pratt, Teresa McDonald, and Michelle Plintiff. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's already 1:03. My time is your time. You know how this works. This is a blitz. That means that every question gets 5 minutes. If we do have some media moderators show up, obviously they're going to get first pick. But before we do all of that, we got 93 people here. So welcome, welcome. We're going to do a quick prayer just to set the tone. How do y'all like my holiday decorations? This is kind of like the universalist, Jewish, Buddhist sort of holiday thing going on. I got my candelabra, got my Kuan Yin, I got my flowers. It's cool, you know, it's a festive time. Somebody had said, well, I'm a witch, so it's not a festive time for me. And I was thinking, well, what about Samhain? Isn't it the time when we light the Yule log and bring in the sun? I thought that it was important in traditional pagan holiday as well, but I could be mistaken. All right. Oh, thank you, Edith. Cool deco, yay! All right, we want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for the planet, and for the people we have strife with, and let us to collectively say Amen. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I've been getting a lot of emails where people are scared, they're frightened, we're scared, he's going to get reelected. And I really just want to encourage us all to move away from fear. I feel myself getting fearful too, particularly those of us that are glued to the TV. Yule is on December, for the pagans. That's what I thought, because you're bringing in the sun so that the frost can melt and we can plant stuff. That's what I thought. All right, so I just really want to encourage everybody to move away from the fear mentality. I don't think it's good for any of us, and instead let's move together collectively towards solutions to save the planet. I don't know if anyone got to see the videos I'd done in the past about the book we are reading this month. It's put out by Peter Singer. It's being republished, and if you want to listen to the audio is read by singer-songwriter Paul Simon. For those of us who are huge fans of Paul Simon, he did do the audio. And it's a philosophy book about what we can do collectively to save the world, to end poverty, and to live the good life. And it's interesting. I had a dream a week ago, I think it was, with Paul Simon in it, where he took me on a journey to go help a poor person get a pair of shoes. And then I thought, well, that had some symbolism to it. And then I Googled, what's he been up to this week? And he was announcing that for the 10th anniversary of To Save a Life, he was doing the audio recordings, which got me pulled into the book, which I am now reading. And it made me really feel grounded after reading it, and because it helped me get my priorities and my ethics straight. And it also helped me understand why I had been kind of sad and feeling disconnected here in LA. Everything from how we spend our money, do I spend it on $10 for a box of hair dye, or do I spend the $10 on planting 10 trees? The hair dye is bad for Mother Earth because it's toxic, right? It goes into the watershed. It causes your hair to thin. I stopped using hair dye in my hair. Look at all that new growth. It's getting all nice and thick and healthy. And I decided that I love the gray. I think it's really pretty, actually. So I saved myself a little money, and then that's money that can be donated to save the planet. So one of the things that Peter Singer talks about is that when we live simple lives aligned with our values, and take what we need to live a good life, but everything else really serves no purpose other than to save everybody else and to save the planet. And environmentalism and doing our part here as a community to save the planet is why we donate to charity, we plant trees. This month, for the month of December, AmericanForest.org is doubling everyone's donations. So we will be planting trees. December 21st is when we will be donating to charity, because that's when on the 21st is when we get the donations. Oh, thank you, Courtney. Happy Friday to you. So it looks like we're going to be able to donate about $300 to our tree fund, which means that we will plant 600 trees this month. And it goes back to that idea that let us move away from fear and towards activism, sustainability. And instead of putting all of our attention on the things we fear, let us instead give attention to the things that give us hope. Whether it's Gretchen Thurman, who just became Person of the Year and is up for a Nobel Prize. These are the things that we need to be moving towards. Green capitalism, investing in sustainable corporations, sustainable mutual funds. Let us come together and be the solution and create a beautiful world, and not be bogged down by the negativity of people that bring us fear. The more we do that collectively as a group, the more powerful we become, and the less powerful the bully becomes. So I'm really trying to encourage all of us to just get out of fear. And there are so many things we can do. If we're worried about Fox, and we're worried about, thank you, PJB. Thank you. 5 tree babies for PJB. If we're worried about all that, one of the things we can do is we can just take a list of all the different companies that advertise on Fox and just choose to boycott them. Hit them with the pocketbook, and instead start buying things like Beyond Beef. I don't really care for that product, but basically putting our money where our philosophies are. And so I just want the channel to move away from this constant fear and instead towards hope and creating the world that we want to create in the world. Oh, thank you, LaRonda McBrayer. You've given birth to 5 tree babies today, or 10 because it's a match program this month. Y'all like my stockings? I got one for me and one for Mila. And she definitely likes her presents. I do put presents in the stocking for her. Oh, Yvette has 10 tree babies as well. Mazel tov, mazel tov. And another, tree babies. We like the tree babies. Last month we gave to Tree Sisters, but this month, because of the match, it'll be AmericanForest.org. We go back and forth. All right, let's go ahead and shuffle. Yes, of course. LaRonda, trees. You've had 10 tree babies, LaRonda. Now that's gotta hurt, but let's face it, it was well worth it. 10 tree babies. We don't have to cry about losing the forest. We just have to get mobilized and plant a new one. You are far more powerful than you realize, my sisters and brothers. Our collective choices matter. We don't have to be frightened. Thank you, Ona Taro, for being here to moderate. Deborah Lewis has given birth to 10 tree babies. And as we like to say here, may they grow up to be strong pine. Right, let's see what the week is in store for all of us, the collective energy that we are co-creating. I don't give Christmas presents or Hanukkah presents anymore. Oh, thank you, Miriam. Miriam had 10 tree babies. Instead, I just donate to charity in December. Let me all know if you've had a chance to look at the Life You Can Save by Peter Singer, and if you like the book that we're reading this month, because I'm really glad I'm reading it. And then after I do that, I think I'm going to be looking at organizations for the environment. Jane Phelps, lovely. She had 20 tree babies. No Hanukkah gelt this year? You know, I'm trying to get off sugar. But, you know, I always liked the Hanukkah gelt that was the chocolate. It was halav milkik, more than the gum, more than the kosher chewing gum, which was like really hard to chew. Those of us who are Jewish know what I'm talking about. But, you know, there's so many other things you can do besides gelt, you know, like chocolate gelt if you're gonna play with your dreidels. All right, where we are at right now, the sacred contract. This is a time of year when a lot of people are thinking about their traditions, whether it's Hanukkah, where we light the lights, you know, also in the Christian community where they're lighting the lights to spread the lights around. Oh, Pace gave birth to 10 tree babies. Pace, congratulations. So a sacred contract is moving in, and this is really the feeling I've been getting lately, is just this need for us to begin to strengthen our commitment to being true to our spirituality and our belief systems that are about sustainability, saving the planet. And in that way, we disempower those things or those individuals that bring us fear. When you walk in truth and when you walk in compassion, and when it becomes cool and hip to be sustainable, when it becomes cool and hip to be a green capitalist investing in green companies, when it becomes fun, cool, and hip to save the planet, everybody wants to hang out at the cool table, right? It's kind of like Saturday Night Live. They were making fun of Donald Trump at NATO. He had to sit at the losers table because none of the winners wanted to sit with him. But the fact that we have such a lovely card moving in that has to do with sacred contracts, she looks towards God or spirit, and he looks to her because the spirit of God is over her, and she becomes beautiful as a result. The more aligned we are with our values, and the more our values are based on sustaining the planet and sustaining one another, the more beautiful we become. That's the idea of the sacred contract. Thank you, Jenny. Mazel tov to your 10 babies. And you can see here moving in is also a feeling of healing or health. It's really also a time when people feel that they've been gaslit. Seriously, do I need to spend $30 for you to trim my eyebrows? I mean, come on. That's $30 that I can put towards tree babies or clean water. Let's preserve the water. Let's dig wells. I can clip my own eyebrows. Thank you very much. It's really moving away from this, the delusion, the gaslighting, feeling disempowered because the people that are creating the rules are not necessarily thinking of our best interest. But I love the fact that the healer comes in. I always think of this also as Hermes, which is the Mercury energy, not just the water energy, but the healer who brings the elixir. The first card is the sun. So we still have the truth coming out. We still have a time where a lot of information is going to be coming out that we're going to be looking at. People are concerned that there's going to be a suppression of evidence, but I don't see that. I know Mitch McConnell is saying that it's going to be a quick in the Senate. I don't think what the Senate does is going to matter because I keep seeing the sun coming out. I still see the truth coming out, and what crosses it, we get our wish. I think they're going to release his taxes. They can get him off, but now the power is with them. If he continues to decline, if they can continue to make him look bad, it's up to Mitch McConnell if he wants to keep this charade going. But to be honest with you, when I looked at Mitch McConnell's cards today, it looked like he was quitting and he was not going to get reelected. Juggling coins back and forth. It can also indicate people hiding information, or the juggler who you never know what's going on, where his hand is going, what he's up to. It's the guy that could theoretically, this can be a type of gaslighting, you know, where you're playing a game of cards with somebody, or some kind of risk game, and the person is moving their hands and they're juggling and you don't know where the P is hidden. So this can be a con artist, moving money, trickery. Oh, Catherine had 40 babies. 40 tree babies for Catherine. Woohoo! You're amazing too, Catherine. And now a small little patch of the forest, 40 trees in a forest somewhere will have your karma on them, and that's a good thing. Star is moving in. You see what I'm talking about? There's this conscious awakening where we're all past the BS, and we're moving instead towards what really matters. Are we kind? Are we kind to one another? Are we saving the planet? Are we living simply? Also, I like the fact that the star is in the third house, because the third house for me always represents the heart. It's what sits in our heart. It's what we marinate in. And the star is to receive an anointing or a blessing or compassion from spirit. I always think of star as like a hug from the spiritual world. What has been in our past, the King of Cups, offers of healings. It's the Heart King. This is really a feeling of negotiations and love songs, as Paul Simon would say. It's a time of negotiations, love songs. What can you comfortably give? This is what Spirit is asking of you right now that can save the planet. I know the last time we did a Blitz, when we had the impeachment party, we had 2 people who were suicidal. They didn't know what they were going to do. This is a challenge from the Spirit, where now that everybody is connected with Spirit, it's a direct address to you. Like you, Noel, I know you're busy doing good things. What are you going to do right now to save the planet, to end suffering? And it goes back to this idea of being a spiritual person in everyday life. Can everybody see that? And what's amazing here is that we see tremendous stress reduction, that when people get rid of the stuff that doesn't matter, when we minimize and we get rid of the BS and we start throwing out all of the things that are just cluttering up our lives and get back to the basics, which is helping each other, we actually improve our health. We can see the collective here is actually moving towards strength and health. You know, it's interesting. I was cleaning out my refrigerator last night, because I'm trying to come up with ways that I can eat more plant-based protein, because I don't have the best digestion in the world. And then I had a eureka moment that I was going to start making hummus with split mung beans, which are high in protein. You soak them, you wash off the green, you mash them, you add a little tahini and garlic. It's like, I just worked out my problem. That and a protein shake every day. So like my goal for 2020 is to eat clean and to go mostly vegetarian if I can. I'm not saying people have to be 100% vegetarian, but I'm trying to live more sustainably, eat cleaner and eat more simply, and less garbage in the home, less plastic in the home. What can I do? What can Whimsy do to be part of the solution in my own small little way? But I like the fact that strength is moving in for us, because strength suggests that as a community, there's over 10,000 of us now. As a community, we're actually pushing towards health, and we're pushing towards clarity, and we're pushing towards grace. We're also pushing towards getting our wish and the sun coming out, which is what's crossing us, which is a feeling of pushing forward that the light bulb went off, and the only thing that matters, it's kind of like that song by Jewel, is the amount of kindness you bring in the world. Oh, I love mung beans. I grow them in the laundry room. Well, that's a good place to grow them, I suppose. Yes, and falafel, but I have trouble digesting chickpeas, and they are histamine liberators. So if you suffer from migraines and you're on a low histamine diet, you want to come up with other ways to get your protein that's not going to cause an upset stomach or migraine or headache and that sort of thing. But I figured it out because I got myself a really great vegan protein. I'm doing ORAC protein and greens. That's my promotion for the week. ORAC. I do 2 scoops of that every morning. Unfortunately, it's packaged in plastic, but I do that, or I'm doing oatmeal with nuts and seeds and frozen berries in it. So good. And then I put a little coconut sugar and banana. Rock on. So I like the fact that as a collective, we're moving towards health. The other card that's moving in for us collectively as a group this week is boundaries. But it's different than the boundaries we see with something like the Queen of Wands. It's a little bit harsher, the King of Swords. This is a real feeling energetically that one will no longer tolerate certain things. Sometimes in nature can be brutal, and sometimes there's a time and a place for this type of energy. If you're looking at the traditional Yoruba out of Africa, this energy was called Ogun. It was the workers card. It was typified by steel and iron and work, but it also can be found, this energy, in the military. It's the need to fight. Sometimes, for everything there is a season, and now this is the time of it's like a military. It's like an energy where one comes in and pushes against something that is intolerable. It's the time to fight. I don't know about everybody else, but MoveOn.org is having impeachment protest. I believe it's going to be happening right before the congressional vote. They haven't set the date yet. If you go to the link for Move On for the impeachment protest, you can punch in your zip code and find out where the nearest protests are going to be. I'm going to be going to the protest here in West Hollywood. So if anybody is going to be going to the impeachment protest, you can hang out with me. Maybe we'll get something to eat afterwards. That would be fun. But I'll be at the impeachment protest here in West Hollywood. So we are getting that military kind of energy moving in, which is to be organized and to be the good soldier. Onward soldiers kind of an energy. And what is around us? The ethos of the nation, right? Because Hierophant is how we look towards God or spirit in a romantic reading. For those of you who are professional readers, if you have a client who is LGBTQ, this can also be a marriage card, 2 men taking their vows before the priest. So I often will use this as a marriage card with my LGBTQ community. But the fact that it's in an 8th house and the fact that we are sharing it as a collective in the 8th house tells me that we have come together. And I've been using this as the Constitution because the Constitution and the values that we share. So I still would not give up on the Constitution just yet, despite what Mitch McConnell says. The hope and the fear that nothing will be done. This goes back to what Gretchen Thurman had said. Nothing's being done. Nothing's being done. And it's the challenge. What are you going to do in order to save the planet? What are you going to do? Which organizations are you going to volunteer for? Which rivers and streams are you going to go and clean up and remove the trash? Which animals are you going to save today? Which animal's life did you save? Which person's life did you save? Which foster child did you give a forever home to? What are you going to do about it? See, when we are frozen, when we are in a state of fear, we can fight, we can flee, or we can freeze, right? Those of us with complex PTSD know what it is to freeze, to be so terrified, to have been in a situation where we literally cannot move. The Four of Swords, though, has an aspect to it, which is samadhi, the ability to go deep in oneself and basically discover oneself. But this is a time to fight. You can fight, you can flee, or you can freeze. And the final outcome for us, this will end. This will change. The death card, the transformation. Are we going to collectively be part of the change we want to see in the world? I also wanted to say that if you don't have a lot of money, the Pete Singer book is free on his website. So yeah, the Life You're Going to Save. Yeah, if you go to the website, you can download it for free. If you want to download the Kindle on Amazon, it's only 99 cents. I'm going to do the clarification now for everybody. The fool takes a leap of faith. We're getting mobilized. We're getting mobilized. We're doing the work. Look at this, the work of the Constitution, the work of the ethos, the hope and the fear to terminate, to cut off. This is also the soldier's card. It's also Archangel Michael, who comes with the sword of justice. And then the final outcome for us as a nation, to walk away. It goes back to that saying, I think it's Rabbi Nachman, of Breslov. He said, the main thing to recall is to have no fear. The whole wide world is a very narrow bridge. There's really only one choice, and you're going to have to go from point A to the next point. You're going to cross the bridge, and the choice is actually a very narrow choice. Are we going to save the world or not? So we take the road, we go on the road, we become part of the solution, but understand also that that saying the biggest fear to fear is fear itself, or the main thing to recall is to have no fear. What I like about the Eight of Cups is that it's not the end. The person goes out to seek the ninth cup. And the ninth cup is to have the wish. We go out to seek the ninth cup, and what crosses us is we attain the ninth cup, which is our wish has been granted. We will save ourselves. We could waste a lot of time being frightened, which is what certain people want us to be. Or we could choose not to have fear and say, let's get together and save ourselves. The sacred contract, heal yourself. Going into a place of strength. We are collectively coming into a place of strength. We go off to seek the ninth cup. The sun comes out, we receive the ninth cup. One of the problems that happened to us in terms of imbalance was that we underestimated our own power as a collective. and we shrugged off the responsibility and gave it to somebody else. And now we're kind of rediscovering our power. So, yeah, everybody's mobilized. I mean, pick a charity. Let's get the plastic out of the ocean. Let's save the bees. The bees are in trouble. I saw another bee walking instead of flying. It's kind of like, that feeling coming in, particularly with the King of Swords there in the 7th house. It's like rolling up your sleeve, get to work, don't have fear. What do I got to do? What do I got to do? What do I got to do to save the planet? It's a very practical guidance. Rather than wasting all this energy, letting certain people whip us up, certain people get off on it because they feel like they have power. The bully likes making you cry. The bully gets off on making us frightened. When we're bored and we move on, and it's cool to go save the planet, the bully becomes irrelevant. That's what happened with Gretchen Thurman. She's cool. We want to hang out with her, right? Okay, so we've got, that was the week. So you can see the week is boom, boom, boom. No fear, we're plowing forward. And I think it's because it goes back to the remote I did 2 years ago, and then we talked about it again last year, and that is that people would take to the streets and we would say, impeach, impeach, and yay, it's happening next week. Anybody in West Hollywood, totally, let's hang. Let's do it. Let's hang out. We'll go to the impeachment march, and then afterwards we'll have an impeachment party. We can go to Barney's Beanery and get some beers and French fries and talk about stuff. All right, so pick a place to meet Ronnie. If Ronnie's in Los Angeles, it's going to be at the square area in San Vicente Boulevard, where San Vicente crosses 621, I think, something like that, San Vicente. Yeah, we'll figure out. Maybe we'll have like an Oracle of Whimsy banner or something. I don't know. But I know that Tawny will be there. Marcia will be there. We'd love to have everybody come say hi to us. We can all protest together. We can sing Kumbaya, and then we can go get beer and French fries. Sound good? Yay! Okay, so I'm being asked to do some blitzes now. We have 30 minutes to do the blitzes. I'm being asked if I could look at the energy for Boris Johnson, but I don't want to go people getting all afraid and focusing on the negative rather than the positive. But we can go ahead and look at Brexit and Boris Johnson. I still see problems, but we can go ahead and do it if you like. And if the moderators have any questions, of course, the rally will be announced by moveon.org. They are now setting up where we're all supposed to meet. Everybody's neighborhood is having a meeting, so you don't have to schlep all the way out to the middle of nowhere. If you're in a small area, then moveon.org is asking if you can host your own impeachment party, basically. And check the cards for the rally. I think the rally is going to be huge because you can see that energy moving in the 7th house, mobilized, military, King of Swords. There is a time for war. Doesn't mean violence, but this is the time to fight. Nasty protest in UK. I just want to check the UK and Boris Johnson and Brexit. What is going on with the UK, Boris Johnson, and Brexit? If this is what the people wanted, though, if it was a free and democratic election, that's a whole other conversation. But Boris Johnson and Brexit, what's going on with the UK? There's a lot of anger I'm feeling about healthcare. A lot of feeling that people feel that they were lied to. That I'm feeling anger, feelings of betrayal. I don't know, grief and poverty. It goes back to, I keep getting this poverty card with England. And I think it has to do with concerns about the National Health Services. Being wounded, being in the snow, being cold, being impoverished, grief. I know the conservatives are celebrating, but this doesn't look like a celebration. There's still a feeling of fear of poverty, fear of people not having work, fear that people's medical care, fear that their medical care will be taken away from them. Looking the ship that's waiting to come in, a sacred contract. This is probably trade. This is definitely a trade card. 3 of Wands denotes trade, trade over the ocean. It probably has to do with trade with Europe and the sacred contract. So that's probably Brexit, trying to create some type of a Brexit, some type of a contract that has to do with shipping or importing, exporting. Oh, thank you, Courtney. Very sweet of you to give birth to 10 baby trees. Yes. Those are the match program. Look at this: activism, militarism, military, fighting, soldiers, the Ice King, the king who carries the sword. There's also a feeling here that a large segment of the population is not being listened to. A feeling that Boris Johnson or the people in charge that got in charge in the 3rd house, a 2 of Swords, would denote not listening. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So if you look at the cards from the perspective of the people of Britain, there's a real concern that they are not being listened to, or that there's some kind of that something's going on in Parliament that's resulting in a closing or not listening to the people necessarily. I would say that Johnson feels pretty empowered. A Magician card in the back. 2 of Pentacles, though. Remember what we said about this card. It has an aspect of juggling coin, gaslighting, hiding the coin. This is the person that plays, that hides the pea under the walnut shell and then pockets it. It's the criminal, the con artist, the shuffler. I don't like that coming in here with this in the 6th house. Defending one's territory, the 7 of Wands. I think there's going to be major protest. The Devil card, a feeling that contracts or deals were made behind the scene in the 8th house, that the other had a deal or a contract that may have been unhealthy. The hope and the fear that they have just thrown themselves off of a cliff, the Fool card. And then the final outcome, justice prevails, the King of Wands. I still see problems with Brexit and the courts, or there's a hold up in the British courts. Sun's coming out. Something, the Queen has, it almost looks like the royal family was blackmailed or something. The fact that Yehudi, the archetype of the judge, is coming in with a wish card granted, suggests that there's only, even with the conservatives in power, there's only so much they can do because of existing laws, existing policies, and the fact that there's a 9 of Cups there leads me to think that it's going to be a soft Brexit. I mean, this has been going on for 3 years. So we shall see. But yeah, unfortunately, more protests. Okay, so it's a disaster, Salome says. So I mean, I'm not in England right now. I used to live there. What is this? The Supreme Justices will decide in June about Trump's taxes. Is that the latest? Yeah, Prince Andrew. So somebody got a hold of some tapes on Prince Andrew. It goes back to a feeling that perhaps Epstein had made a deal with a foreign government or had done something where he had taken incriminating evidence and it was then used as leverage possibly by foreign countries. And unfortunately, the royal family might have been caught in the middle of that. Supreme Court to make a decision on Trump's taxes. Let's look at Trump's taxes. I don't know why it would take till June, considering the fact I know that the taxes went to RBG. Before that happened, we did a remote of RBG, and when we got into the energy of RBG, she said that she couldn't justify not releasing the taxes. So I know that she held it till December 18th for them to have a chance to look at it. I saw delays with this whole thing. Yeah, that they're looking into it, but she gave the justices till December 18th, RBG did. But what I heard when I did the remote was her say, I can't see any reason why we would deny them the right to the taxes, and that there are far more pressing cases on the docket. So, all right, let's look at the Supreme Court and the taxes. I don't think it really matters because other people already have his taxes. Alan Weisselberg already and Michael Cohen already confessed. What's going on with the Supreme Court and Donald Trump's taxes? How are we doing on time? Oh, we got a little time left. What is going on with the taxes and the Supreme Court? RBG. Two of Pentacles. Somebody is trying to hide the money, right? The Two of Pentacles. What do you think? Where the situation is right now, walking away. Chariot, there's movement. Some information is going to be released from the court fairly soon. You can see a chariot moving in. Oh, there's the decision. A decision made, a judgment regarding the opening of the eyes. Walking away from a situation of exile, the near future, a healing. I think they're going to release these taxes. I can't tell you when, but the fact that the High Priestess, which is to reveal a truth, and the fact that a Page of Cups is moving in, where they're at right now, a new foundation. Nine of Pentacles moving in. Finances. Yeah, I think they're going to release the taxes. There's really no justification. Oh, there is definitely a debate that happens. Some of the taxes are missing. It looks like some documents are missing. I still see it over for him. It goes back to the remotes we've done before where Mueller just creates all these webs and then, hello, my kitty friend is here. Mila, look, it's Tommy. Mila's boyfriend is here. Do y'all want to see Mila's boyfriend? Oops. Hi, Tommy. Hi. I have to feed Tommy. Mila, do you want to see your boyfriend?
Tommy!
What? I'm gonna go back to work. Here you go. Sorry about that. What you see is what you get here. Is he not the cutest cat? He was abandoned a couple years ago, and now everyone in the neighborhood takes care of him. And Mila's madly in love with him. So will Pence get to pick a Supreme Court justice if RBG has to resign? I think RBG is going to resign. They're willing to hear. Oh, the court is willing to hear. God, that surprises me because, well, when we did the remote, Roberts was on the fence. Yes, he's gorgeous, Ronnie. Isn't he gorgeous? See, I don't think the end in the grave regarding the money. What is their argument from a Supreme Court perspective? I don't know. All right. Let's go ahead and quick. We've still got time. Let's start doing some more blitzes before I have to go to work. I have to go back to the office. Happy birthday, Courtney. Everybody wish Courtney a happy birthday. Oh, really? They drunk the Kool-Aid. Oh, well. Oh, they just need 4? All right, let's go ahead now and see about whether or not there's going to be any deal made between, I want to see if there's any more arrests coming, any more indictments. If the feds are going to be indicting anybody else. The feds going to be indicting anybody else? What is the latest? It's going to indict anybody else. Yeah, I think Tommy's a cute cat. The FBI is making deals with people. You can see the sweetheart deal, the 6 of Cups, which is the suitor, and an Ace of Wands, which is entrepreneurship, but it's also the card of justice, and it's also flexing your muscle, or it's a staff. It has a phallic kind of symbolism to it, so it's a power card. The fact that there's a 6 of Cups there, which is to woo, what could indicate that the feds are going to continue to turn more witnesses. Where we're at, they're presenting cases. I don't think, yeah, there's more evidence. Look at this. There's a Empress, other people are going to jail. I think people like Lev Parnas definitely are in legal trouble. There's something about information coming out about an international, that has an international aspect to it, with the world card coming in. There's something about offers or deals. Yeah, and a 6 of Pentacles. And the Justice card. This is interesting because it could indicate that the Justice Department is trying to actually undermine the FBI's investigation, and that has me a little bit concerned because you can see here the Justice card and then the Knight of Pentacles coming in. So we could see Bill Barr actually attempting to stop or delay or block an investigation again. And this is Barr's card. So I think what I want to do is I want to just check out William Barr. I've been using the King of Cups for him because I used the King of Swords for Donald Trump. All right, I just want to check on William Barr real fast. What is going on with William Barr? What's going on with William Barr? See, this feels like, yeah, you can see here a Seven of Wands to defend one's territory and fighting. So there's actual all-out fighting now happening in the Justice Department. It looks like he's becoming increasingly isolated. That there are actually lawyers and people inside the Justice Department that are breaking away and possibly even quitting or turning state's evidence against the Justice Department itself. You can see the Five of Wands here, exchange of ideas, conflict, and his card is a Seven of Wands. So I see chaos in the Justice Department. This is not smooth going. Yeah, he's holding on to something. I still see Barr potentially leaving. I'm surprised he has not been subpoenaed by the House and he isn't facing impeachment or disbarment himself. Three of Wands, waiting for his ship to come in. He's waiting for some kind of information. He plans on publishing something, or he has additional information that he's been working on that he thinks is going to defend his position with the president. But there's a Five of Swords walking away from a battle he can't win. He's also going to have to accept the fact that there are certain battles he can't win. The other is in a position of the Magician. Hopes and fears closed off. And then the final outcome, a movement card. I think that something's going to happen where there's a battle that Barr can't win. Yeah, you can see the Ace of Swords over the Magician in the 8th house. Something about a son, something he's trying, didn't want to give out is being released, and something about a stress, having a stress about it, and then his outcome in the coming weeks is the Tower. I think based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like Barr attempted to suppress or hold information or create an argument to defend. He was holding on to something. He was defending something. There was an all-out riot that seems to have broken out in the Justice Department. The fact that it's ending in a Tower, the fact that the truth is coming out, there's a Sun card, the fact that he's walking away from a battle he can't win. The other in relationship to him, which is the 8th house, presents as a Magician and an Ace of Swords. So Ace of Swords, so they have power and victory on their side. The hopes and fears, you can see here partly resistance, a Two of Swords, but also stress and fear. The fact that there's a fleeing card or a moving card, and the fact that there's a Tower, and these are his bases. I would say everything around Barr is collapsing. That's the best way for me to interpret these cards. It's not just that what happened to Barr, based on what I'm seeing here, is that he tried to suppress too many things, and one by one, people began fighting him to try and expose or release information until it became so many fires, he couldn't put them all out. That would be the best way for me to interpret this. You know, the fact that that's his fear, the fact that the sun is moving in a couple of weeks. Justice moves slowly, but justice is moving forward. Okay, I think we have a time for one more blitz. I will let the moderators decide. Oh, Ona got the same? Yeah, I mean, it was just like, you could see all those wands and fighting and people fighting around him. And then the people opposing him had an Ace of Swords, which is a victory card, Magician card, and then his card becomes the Tower card. Yeah. I think there's only so much that he can do before eventually everything comes out. All right, we have time for one more throw before I run back to the office. If Noel has a question, what is the mood in Washington, D.C.? Is that the question? Greta Thunberg. I always want to say Thunberg, but it's Thunberg. Thunberg. Thunberg or Thunberg? Greta Thunberg? Yeah. We all want to hang out with her. McConnell or Ivanka? Okay, so Noel gets to decide. Is it just a general reading on the feeling? Is that what you want, or did you want something more specific? Okay, let's just look at the mood in DC, and then that'll be the last throw for today. It's fun, right? Thunberg. Is that how you pronounce it? Thunberg? Really, Debbie? Greta Thunberg? Is that right? The mood in DC. What's the mood like in DC right now? People are going after Mitch McConnell. I don't see reelected unless something dramatically changes, because he's truly, people are really starting to hate him. Lindsey Graham is starting to become a little bit scared of the hostility that's being directed towards him. It's interesting when you go into the energy, when you follow the remote on Lindsey Graham, it's almost like people are so angry. It's like you can't keep the hordes. It's just, and it's almost like a feeling of retreat. A judgment is coming. And then you can see Archangel Michael is how I read the page of, is the archetype I use for the Page of Swords. Messages by air. It also, pages can also be angels, because a message is an angel. So I think of it as the aspect of the angelical realm that can fight, and a judgment or a decision coming in. Yeah, I think people are just closed. Two of Swords. I don't see people's opinions changing. Nine of Pentacles is moving in. I really do think they followed the money. They followed the money. People did deals. People pled guilty in exchange for a lesser sentence. The truth came out. The truth is coming out. There's lawyers all over the place. Links with dark money, foreign governments, offers. A lot of gaslighting and confusion with the Seven of Cups as the outcome. Justice will prevail. You know, it's interesting. You know, we're going to see what happens, but it's like effective gaslighting that eventually runs its course. That's the best way to describe this kind of energy. But people are completely like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in the country. I think that the courts will hold. That's basically what I see for the future in DC. Wow. I know another psychic had said that she saw Trump being reelected. He's at 43% right now. The hit I got last night when I did a remote, I'm very concerned about Biden getting the nomination, actually, because Biden is older. It's going to be really hard on him to run this campaign. If Biden gets sick in the middle of the campaign and has to step down, that could be theoretically the kind of shocking situation that puts Trump in power. Oh, Shabbat Shalom to you too, PJB. And that is why, just because of the meditation I did last night, I'm a little concerned about Biden getting the nomination. The better nomination, objectively, when you look at the energy, would have been Cory Booker, because Cory Booker would have united the nation, and he would have been a president that everybody would have. He would have gotten a lot of respect if we had. I'm surprised that Cory Booker didn't do better, just because he has friends on both sides of the aisle. Elizabeth Warren started out strong. She took a hit. She may take another hit as well, but she may be coming back. I'm just concerned about Biden's health, and if Biden gets the nomination and then cannot run, or his campaign is disrupted, that could theoretically really, really hurt us going forward. So that's I'm having real concerns if we pick Biden for that reason. All right, everybody. Love and light to everybody. Be part of the change. Don't be frightened. Get out of the house. Make friends. Start clearing away the garbage from the streams and the rivers where you live. Start pulling the invasive species. Make friends with other environmentalists. Fall in love. Save a dog's life, a cat's life, an elephant's life. Pick your totem, as they say. All right, thanks everyone who made donations for the trees today. It looks like we're going to have a great month for tree planting this December because of the match program. Shabbat Shalom to everyone who is having Shabbat, and happy holidays to everyone who's having holidays. And we will see you all next time. Bye. Goodbye, everyone. Love and light. Thank you, Noel, and Ona, for being our moderators. Peace out.